It's 10 a.m. in Lagos, Nigeria. Good morning. Welcome to Business Morning, right here on Channels Television. That's the beginning of 55 minutes of current and relevant business conversations. I'm Ini John Mekwa, and we'll have this time together the next 55 minutes. Let's start off with what's going on in the global oil space. Now, oil was a little change on Wednesday after falling for 3 days as concerns about slowing European demand offset worries of Middle East supply disruptions stemming from the Israel-Hamas conflict in Gaza. Brent futures edged lower by 6 cents to $87.78 a barrel, while US West Texas Intermediate crude futures dropped to $83.75 a barrel. Eurozone business activity data also came out yesterday. It took a surprise downturn this month, suggesting the bloc may slip into recession, creating a drag on the outlook for oil demand overall. The region's oil refineries have been consuming less crudes than a year ago amid lackluster economic growth. And going to the global grain space now, Chicago Board of Trade corn futures fell for a third straight session and yet a 2-week low under pressure from U.S. harvesting and technical selling. Wheat futures also eased while soybeans and soy meal jumped. Most active corn futures closed 6 1/4 cents lower at $4.84 a bushel and touched their lowest price since October the 12th at $4.82 for 3/4 of a bushel. CBOT December wheat dropped 6 3/4 cents to end at $5.80 for half a bushel and set its lowest price since October the 18th. Farmers had harvested 76% of their soybean crop and 59% of their corn by Sunday, according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, after trading ended on Monday. The figures, roughly in line with trade expectations, were ahead of the 5-year average pace for each crop. We come to Nigeria now. Yesterday was a big one for the fintech industry. The FinTech Week 2023 opened in Lagos, bringing together more than 10,000 financial and fintech leaders and stakeholders from over 80 countries. Celebrated as Africa's premier fintech gathering, this year's edition of the annual event with the theme Fintech Resilience, Innovation and Diversification creates a dynamic avenue where traditional financial institutions, innovation tech startups, government representatives, and global investors converge to shape the future of finance in one of Africa's most vibrant tech hubs. Well, guess what? The U.S. General Counsel was there, and he had a word for the fintech leaders.
Why do we care about this investment? Why do we care about fintech? And it's basically two things. First of all, you're bringing people into the banking system. You're doing things to transform the entire continent. And that speaks directly to what we're trying to do on the continent in trying to build a digital transformation together with our partners in Africa. Anyone who has ever heard me speak has heard me say this, because I say it every time I speak. We often used to say, we need African solutions to African problems. You've heard that? Yeah? I think it's wrong. I think it's wrong because we need African solutions to global problems. We need to bring the solutions that you're developing to emerging markets and markets around the world. The problems that we face are too big to be focused on one continent. They're too big that we have to think about them just myopically. Oh, Africa, you have these problems, you go fix them. We need to be working together to address things like climate change, banking the unbanked, digital access together. And so when we talk about the digital transformation with Africa, we're talking about major US investments in infrastructure. We're about to land the largest undersea cable in the world to Africa through Nigeria, both Port Harcourt and actually Eket and Lagos, with Meta in just a few weeks.
All right, so, let's delve into that. We have the president, the organizer of that event, Mr. Adebajumo, the president of FinTech Nigeria, right here in the studio. Well, I must say congratulations. That was a big event you had yesterday. It's on today and ends tomorrow.
Indeed.
Yeah, and obviously you have top brains and all of that. But following what the U.S. Consul General were talking about, the attraction investment from the United States to Nigeria, and he also mentioned a phrase that seems to be becoming popular now, African solution to the world. Is this for real?
Thank you very much for inviting me, Ine. And, we're really, really pleased to bring about the FinTech NGR Nigeria FinTech Week. It's actually a very interesting ecosystem. This is the 6th edition of the FinTech Week, and it keeps going from strength to strength. Just a little bit about our association, and I'll address the big question. We've just gone from literally members, banks, fintechs, and co. over the last 7 years coming together from literally 3-4 people, started by Dr. Aino, and now it's an organization with over 400 members. It's self-funding by its members, and our view is simple. We want to connect, accelerate, and advocate for the development of fintechs, because we see this nascent industry. And indeed, if you look at quite a number of things that happen within Nigeria, many of those interesting things don't even require government sponsorship. Yeah, so look at how Nollywood evolved. Yeah, look at how Afrobeats evolved. We really think that fintech is the next thing. And you think through the first, second, third industrial revolution. I often pause to say, where were our ancestors? Yeah, in the 4th and 5th industrial revolution, Africans have an opportunity to participate. Yeah, and this is where that phrase, Africa, solving global problems. I think that's a great phrase. But I would rather say, here's Africa solving Africa's problem, but leveraging global participation and global collaboration. We have a lot of problems to solve in Africa. There's no doubt that those problems are exportable, they're fungible, yeah, to other parts of the world. But we need to accelerate our development. Let's not be under any doubt or under any phases. And what we're doing in FinTech NGR is, if you like, still the basic level. So we have less than 100,000 developers in the country as a whole. And probably anyone on a scale of 1 to 10, anyone that hits 6 or 7 is Japad or Japarin or somewhere like that. That means, one, we have to develop more developers for our own local consumption and growth, and of course, have more to go out as well.
So, I hear you, charity begins at home.
Indeed.
That's what everybody says. And, this has come up a lot about, let's deal with our problems. Nobody can know our problems as much as we can. Even if we wanted to import solutions, we'll still need to customize it. And obviously, the FinTech vehicle is the most popular at this time, attracting a lot of funds and all of that. And as you said, trying to work without the government, because it seems over the years in Nigeria, for instance, if you're waiting for a solution from the government, the bureaucracy actually, makes the thing so long. And good you have this association and, and the group of people. But that will also depend on what you're offering the people to make them work with you and prefer solution to the world, because people will obviously love themselves more than they love, any other person, or even love the nation.
Indeed.
So how do you get these people to actually buy into the vision, national vision? So while, yes, you're a fintech, you have a vision, you want to make profit, but you're also solving a national problem objectively.
Indeed, and I think, without a doubt, what has been very encouraging is that we've seen regulators come into the fray, over a period of time. And that's a very, very positive thing. You cannot have a tech ecosystem, without regulation. You're back to the wild, wild west. It becomes lawless. We have to protect investors. We have to fight against anti-competitive behaviors, yeah, and create, if you like, an environment that fosters growth. And you can see a number of that. So take the CBN. Yeah, they've worked very hard to now build these sandboxes that we're seeing. Even innovation around e-Naira is a very positive thing, regardless of what people may or may not think about it. Yeah, so all of those are very essential building blocks, yeah, in making sure that the fintech ecosystem is one that is stable, facilitates financial stability, and gives confidence to the consumers who are in that space. It also ensures that bad actors, yeah, are actually checked, because we cannot be naive. Yeah, when people hear finance or money, you will get bad actors, whether in terms of taking people's money away or not paying back money that they owe in those areas. So our association exists to make sure that best practices are available. We showcase the best of Nigeria. We show Nigeria as an investment destination, because a lot of the investment is still coming from foreign direct investment as well. But we ensure that we advocate for fintechs, yeah, and that where there are issues which are going to impact the ecosystem, you know, we come together to provide advice. And in that respect, we've seen more participation from the government. And we welcome a number of the developments that have happened. You know, things like the startup bill has been extremely positive. You know,
Has the implementation started, though?
No, but it's you know, you've got to start in the basic building blocks are there. And to be quite fair, a lot of the implementation has to be us. When I say us, the individual entrepreneurs, innovators, actually now taking that and taking it to the next level.
But it has to be domesticated.
Indeed, indeed.
Has that happened? Have you seen states, you know, embrace that?
I've seen a lot of talk, and that is one of the things that we really now have to start, if you like, domesticating. In fact, what we often have is that we have webinars, regular webinars within the association, where we invite members and non-members to be part of. And the last one was actually taken by Oswald, who was a former SA on digital to the previous administration, and also was the driver for the startup bill. And he actually, you know, explained what needed to be done to members and like to actually facilitate, you know, adoption of that particular bill.
So the summit, the FinTech Week, ends tomorrow. And then what? We wait till next year, we'll create another beautiful theme. And so what next after this?
Yeah, so the summit is just one of several events, yeah, that we do to drive the ecosystem, to grow the ecosystem, to connect the ecosystem. So one of the key events that we do, and we're the only fintech association apparently by the World Bank, because they came to observe last year what we were doing, is the Regulators Forum. That's regulators and innovators. So here we get regulators and innovators, and we have about 7, 8 regulators, you know, you name it, they somehow, some way, they have a part to play.
Isn't that too much? Is there no overlapping?
And that's why...
That's another thing in the Nigerian space, not just for fintechs. I mean, businesses complain of multiple taxation.
Over-regulation, over-taxation, and all of that. And that's why we have that Regulators Forum. And the whole purpose of that Regulators Forum is that all the key regulators, the SEC, CBN, FCCPC, NCC, NFIU, you know, all the carriers are there with the fintechs, and if there are any key fintech issue, topic, impacting the ecosystem, then it's discussed at those forums as well. It's still building blocks. I'm not saying it's perfect, but we have to start somewhere and we have to keep going. We hold webinars as well to actually inform our members on what's going on. We hold social meets and we bring in guest speakers because, you know, we have to really accelerate the development of fintech. And next year, we're hoping that in the FinTech Week, we're going to have a job fair, you know, where we want to really do, if you like, a two-way job fair where interns, people who have the aptitude to come into the fintech ecosystem, have an opportunity to come in, test their aptitude, and have employers there. You know, we can take them.
But they do need skills acquisition.
They do need skills acquisition. But the first level, you know, the fundamental thing here is, do they have the baseline talent level? You know, in terms of the analytical skills, the aptitude skills, their disposition in terms of manners and all of that stuff. Those are the baseline. And, you know, you can study philosophy, you can study music, you can study maths, but there's a way that it can be tested and people can realize that, gosh, this guy can be a good programmer, for example. Yeah, so I don't need you to be a programmer. I can take some aptitude tests to determine that we can put you through specific training courses. And there are companies out there who can design courses, specifically for employers to actually cross-train people in professions that are dying, so to speak, or being replaced by computers into new professions as well, rather than waiting for experts, because you'll be waiting forever. You have to really build people's careers.
All right, sounds very interesting. I'm sure I'm looking forward to it also, but I mean, that of this year is still on, and we wish you the very best. And of course, especially those issues with regulators and the startup bill, to see some things moving around there would be nice.
Thank you very much, Eni.
Thank you so much, the president of FinTech NGR, Mr. Adebajumo.
Thank you.
All right, now so many things happen in Nigeria. Business owners and managers list ever-changing government regulations as top contributors to a hostile business environment in the country. It's for this reason that Strain and Bland, in collaboration with Nigeria German Chamber of Commerce and delegation of AHK Nigeria, met to discuss the impact of these policy changes and implications for their businesses. A lot of conversations have been held on the approach of President Bola Tinubu in handling macroeconomic headwinds, which, though not peculiar to Nigeria, but requires customized approach for Nigeria.
We gather not just to talk about these changes, but to assess their implications.
Strain and Bland partners and a group of economists call this knowledge sharing, and it's their way to join in. Their perspective is assessing recent policy changes in Nigeria and their implications. It may be hard times, but the seemingly unfriendly situation also opens up opportunities.
The German companies or the European companies, they are restructuring their supply chains at the moment. So it's not just a one-way street what we offer in the services. We try to reach both sides, and we try to bring both sides together.
The core of discussions comes during the panel. Founding partner Strain and Bland Partners, Amala Umeike, paints a picture from his observations and interactions and possible window for solution.
When I talk to businesses, right, and there are a couple of them in this room, one of the questions I ask is, what's your biggest challenges when it comes to regulatory issues? And they'll say, Amala, listen, it's not about the policies itself, but if I'm able to know that if I do A, B, C as a business, that for the next 4 years it will remain stable, I will just build my business around that policy. And when I thought about it, I think that if the necessary investment is made to agriculture, right, and not just investment in terms of laws, investment, but also tackling issues like insecurity, for instance, which is affecting our ability to produce agricultural outputs, that it will greatly assist in growing our economy, and the data is there.
While the agriculture sector may work, the FX shortage is still a challenge.
The falling peg is a situation where you fix a currency within a band that no country leaves its currency entirely to market forces. And that's what we're seeing. I don't know how you talk about predictability, attracting investment. There is no foreigner or Nigerian. Let's not forget the foreigners. Even Nigerians that have the dollars, nobody's going to put their money down to invest today because we don't know how much dollar will be tomorrow. But if today we say dollar is 1 to 2,000, okay, it's bad news. But we know it's 1 to 2,000 for the next 4 years, like you said. Then we can plan our businesses and make money. So is that predictability, the lack of predictability, that is hurting investment, both local and foreign. Like I said,
another brilliant conversation with doable policies waiting to be implemented for impact. That's right. Yet another conversation, and then the issue of certainty in policies of government, and kind of run away from FX. They're top on the list of that conversation with Strain and Bland. And well, we'll get into that because the Minister of Finance and also the coordinating Minister of the Economy, Mr. Wale Edun, said that all dealings in the forex market, from the official to the money changers, where huge arbitrage has consistently occurred, would be thoroughly monitored and offenders fished out and punished. And he said this while implying that the federal government will be automating forex transactions. Let's understand what this means. You know, it would be good to have a lot of certainty, because every conversation you have about the economy in Nigeria has to do with FX and the uncertainty on the movement. We had there in that conversation with Asran and Ben. I mean, if businesses can build their policies or build their transactions and operations upon a certain amount of exchange rate, then perhaps, you know, there won't be so much scarcity or shortage or complaints. But let's talk to the Managing Director of Nosananke Solutions Limited, Mr. Femi Onokanre, joins us virtually from in Lagos here. Mr. Onokanre, good morning and thank you for your time.
Good morning, Ine.
You know, I'm really looking forward to a time we will not have to discuss FX and discuss the Naira instead, you know, and talk about how we have, you know, our balance of trade is on the positive end. But I don't know if you see any solution in sight at this time, in spite of that pronouncement that we're expecting $10 billion.
Well, the truth is that position in the country, a lot of tough decisions are the federal government and the minister task and putting the things to right the ship, as it were. A lot of open door reason. The risk NESG has been a matter of concern to the government. Some of the things meeting in
Wow, Mr. Nakore, I don't know. I can barely hear you. I can barely hear you. I don't know if we can do anything about that connection, but I can barely hear you, and I'm sure our viewers cannot make out what you're saying. Very unfortunate on this very important issue. Let's see if... Mr. Nakore, can you hear me?
I can hear clearly.
You can hear me clearly, but I can. I mean, it's breaking up. But let's try again and see. Can you hear me now? Could you try to air your thoughts?
So what I'm saying is that the federal government has taken a couple of stiff steps in trying to resolve the. There are a couple of things to be. Number one, there is poor liquidity concern in the country, and you know, it's been dealt with at different levels, but the liquidity is really the issue that is driving origin arbitrage market. To automate FX transaction is actually because FX transactions essentially eliminate the need for cash and have trading of benefits the traders of the need the rather for which has actually the problem had over the years. Finance about orders that were given, and they're very interesting executive orders as it were. Forbearance, non countries now, but the forbearance of the forbearance objective is foreign currency as well. There are a lot.
All right, Mr. Nakore, so unfortunate. So unfortunate. We cannot continue this conversation. We have to find maybe another day, and this is really important. I mean, it would be nice if the federal government can automate the process. We know that the less human interaction in a process, well, the possibility of more transparency and certainty. But unfortunately, we can't continue this. But thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Femi Onokanre, Managing Director of Nosananke Solutions Limited. All right. Now, Alaku Ayiwulu, a science teacher at the Federal Government College Jos, has emerged the 2022 Multina Teacher of the Year with a cash prize of 6.5 million naira, among other rewards. Congratulations to Alaku. Well, the first and second runner-up, Musa Seidu from Borno State and Ifoma Stella from Enugu State, received 1.5 million and 1.250 million naira, respectively. At the formal presentation ceremony, which was in Lagos, a Lifetime Leadership Achievement Award was also presented to the Vice President of Nigeria, former Vice President of Nigeria, beg your pardon, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, while a recognition award was given to former Chairman of Nigerian Breweries, Felix Ohiwere. Well, here's the report as captured by our correspondent, Jerry Doe.
It's a night set aside to celebrate legacy builders, world greatest superheroes, our teachers. The chairman and board of directors of Nigerian Breweries PLC, Asue Ighodalo, lays the premise. He says the brand is advancing the course of quality education across all levels.
Tonight offers us another opportunity to celebrate this special group of men and women who, for us, are more than just teachers. They are our mentors, our motivators, our critics, our cheerleaders, and much more.
The Minister of State for Education believes the award is not only encouraging healthy competition among teachers nationwide, but may also stem the brain drain syndrome in the education system.
Glad to be part of the special and very impactful landmark occasion of the year 2023 Multina Teacher of the Year Award, an event set out to celebrate very unique people, the teachers.
Renowned Professor Patu Tomi led the panel of judges to see through a thorough process which had 1,499 entries from public and private secondary schools across the country.
I am just absolutely blown out of this world by the fact that a private corporation that, like Nigerian Breweries, has been smart enough and fortunate enough to anchor its CSR in this direction for Multina, the Multina brand.
State champions are announced. Then the top 10 trimmed down to 5.
Congratulations,
Adiola Adefemi, Lagos State Public School teacher, wins the grand prize of 6.5 million naira, and that's in addition to a 20 million naira worth of school projects.
It's beyond words. I'm so excited because I would say I wasn't very for it, but it was anybody's game. We're all very great teachers. I met very, very great teachers. So emerging as a winner is it's very, very exciting for me. I'm very happy.
The reason we do this is because we believe that Nigerian teachers are all winners. They are the ones that are responsible for keeping the society together.
According to the organizer, the initiative is created to showcase and reward exceptional teachers, an effort to get towards celebrating excellence in teaching and education across Nigeria.
You're welcome back, and it's AFEX time now. Let's give you a summary of the last trading week, where we saw mixed performances across key indicators. Turnover rose by 4.98%, closing the week at 7.72 billion naira from 1.60 billion naira in the previous trading week, while number of volumes traded witnessed an increase of 5.59%. Number of deals traded also rose 0.23%, The AFEX Commodities Index witnessed a decline of 0.07%, while the AFEX Export Index maintained a 224.25. Now, the volume of trade is what we're looking at now. The record shows that there was an increase in volume across maize, soybean, paddy rice, sorghum, and cocoa. And there you have the graph right there on the screen. Now let's look at the price of commodities for the week. We begin with paddy rice. We see that it's a green 2.38% up. That's about 50 naira 56 kobo, to close at 2,200 naira for a kilogram of cocoa. That's what we're starting with. Cashew nuts is also in the green 0.77%. That's about 4 naira 52 kobo, to close at 592 naira 72 kobo at the close of trade. Here we see sesame is unchanged, still at 1,247 naira 57 kobo for a kilogram at the close of the trading week. And if we could have the next one, there you have ginger, also unchanged, 989 naira 83 kobo. No movement in that price. Maize is on the flip side, however, lost 11.75%. That's about 44 naira 22 kobo, to close at 317 naira. And then we see paddy rice, we talked about, unchanged at the close of week, 456 naira 13 kobo for a kilogram. And wheat, the almighty wheat, very popular commodities there, unchanged. The price is unchanged at 440 naira. Soybeans also unchanged, 377 naira 88 kobo at the close of the week. All right. So I guess if you want more information, you can go to the website and get more information there. AfricaExchange.com for their website and their social media to get more information, and how you can even participate on this commodities exchange. That's the AFEX Commodities Exchange. It might be a good place for you. After all, everybody have to eat. In spite of the headwinds everywhere, you still have to feed, so it might be a good one for you. But we will hear more about this with Adaize Oleka, Associate Talent Management, joins us virtually now to discuss how AFEX is raising global talent in today's interconnected world and nurturing individuals with the skills, mindset, cultural awareness that is necessary to thrive in these times. Difficult times economically, globally, not just in Nigeria. But Adaize, thank you so much, and thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Great. So what's the place of talent in building Africa's global market competitiveness, especially at a time like this in the world?
Okay, so if you look at Africa has the youngest population in the world, and 70% of that population are people under the age of 30. And that shows the immense opportunity in terms of human capital and investment in Africa. And if you look at the statistics by the World Bank, there's an estimation that the working population of Africa will grow by 450 million in 2035. And the question we need to ask ourselves as African is, how have we positioned ourselves in a way that we can then maximize that opportunity and utilize the opportunity that we have in Africa? And if you look at this, we need to start looking at how can we look into the future, because the world is changing. With the advancement of robotic, AI, and technology, you could see that certain jobs that are relevant today might be redundant in the future. So the focus should be, what are those set skills, what are those relevant skills that we'll need in the future, and start inculcating them in our educational sector, in our learning institutions, so that we can build an Africa or build a pool of talents that are ready and positioned in a way that they can maximize those opportunities. And apart from really focusing on the technical competency, we need to also look at soft skills, right? There's a perception about the African markets, the African product or talents from Africa, that, you know, when you're from African, those things should be substituted, right? And have a discount on them. But in reality, it shouldn't be so. So we need to, inculcate soft skills, try to reframe the mind of our young talent so that they can see themselves as equal as their counterparts in the global space. And that's how we position Africa, to have a competitive advantage in the overall global space.
So how does talent, the talent that we're looking for and talking about, contribute to building a consistent identity on the continent? Because identity also, determines your self-confidence and how you approach things.
Yes, very true. And the answer to that question is in the popular saying that culture feeds or eats strategy for breakfast. And if you look at, it's so important for organizations to have a clear vision or structure for their organization, and as well as having a strong culture, because culture is what brings consistency across all business operations. And how do you then build culture? And how do you bring that strong culture? By defining or having a clear core values, because that stands as the principles and the bedrock of all decision making across all levels in an organization. So if you can get that right and have the right leaders that would be ambassador of those culture, and then you can now cascade that down to the bottom, right? And you create an ecosystem of consistency. So even if you have operations in Kenya, in Uganda, or in different parts of the country or continent rather, you then have a consistent code of conduct, a consistent standard. And this is what brings trust and integrity for your business. And when you have trust and integrity, you then attract the right clients, you tend to attract the right investment for your business, increasing your revenue, and in the long run, also including increasing profitability for your business. And if we, as Africans, start to focus on how can we build strong cultures in our industries, in our businesses, we create an ecosystem of organizations in Africa where they are now seen as trustworthy and having integrity. That way we attract more investment to the African space and also helping creating and improving the economy for Africa.
So, I mean, everybody keeps talking about how the future is in Africa because we have the young talent, we have the young population, we have the skills untapped, even natural resources. But we do have a lot of companies. How do they identify and get on board this, very huge young population, energy, and all of that?
Okay, so like I mentioned earlier, it's important for every business to have a clear strategy, clear vision and mission for their organization, and also have a strong culture that drives that. But as important as that is, you need to have the right people in your organization to be able to fuel those initiatives and bring them to reality. And that's why recruitment is really important from the inception. How do you select people for certain roles? How clear is the expectation? As much as we always want to look for people that have the right knowledge and skills and ability, we need to also look for people that are culturally fitting to the organization. Because when we miss it at that level, we then bring people that begin to diffuse the culture, and that way you then lead to inconsistency across your business operation and across standards. So what you need to look for is people that are competent and also culturally fitting to your organization. And one thing again, you need to know that the world is, like I mentioned, the world is fast changing, right? And like look at what happened in 2019. We could see that opportunities, companies were able to tap into the opportunities or create solutions within that space and help in that, which helps in improving their revenue. So if companies can now, how companies can achieve that is by having an agile organization. And the only way you can have an agile organization is by having an agile team that are willing or are able and have the capacity to adapt to the changes, be economical, political, or environmental, right? And the only way they can build those competencies is by training them. So company needs to start investing heavily on training their talents so that they can have the right skills that can tap into opportunities in the emerging markets and also provide solutions to us and to problems that we are facing. And I think if we can get it right at that stage, we would create an ecosystem of strong organizations that are rewarding and also contributing to the economy of the African continent.
All right, thank you so much for sharing that. And we'll say, more power to AFEX as they continue to search global talent and empower them. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Daisy Oleka, Associate Talent Management with AFEX. All right, I would like to announce a correction on the Maltina Teachers of the Year competition at the reports we showed a couple of minutes ago. And it's like winners have been announced in the 2023 edition of the Maltina Teacher of the Year competition, organized by the Nigerian Breweries Felix Ohiwere Education Trust Fund. I'll read that again. The winners are from the 2023 edition of the Maltina Teacher of the Year competition, and the organizer is the Nigerian Breweries Felix Ohiwere Education Trust Fund. Well, Adeola Adefemi, a Lagos public school teacher, won the grand prize at the grand finale of the competition and award ceremony, which was in Lekki, Lagos. We apologize for that mix-up and hope that correction has been noted. All right, let's go to the market now and see what yesterday looked like at the close of trade. I'm sure you have an idea, of course, when it comes to equities, because I hope you did not miss the stock market report that I brought to you last night. But today we'll have a more comprehensive, so it's not just about the equities for this morning. So there you see the market closed in the positive 0.51 at the close of trade, and thanks to Geregu, I mean, having about 45 or 47% increase in their revenue is certainly a big deal, and has won the confidence of a lot of investors. So yesterday there was bargain hunting on Geregu, and then we saw it was up 9.1% and drove the market in the green. So equities yesterday gained 187.26 billion naira. And our all-share index added 31.15% at the close of trade. Now, let's see the details of it. Volume, everything is in green, or was in green yesterday, activity charts, that is. Volume was up more than 1%. Value, that's the money, that's the cocoa, as they would say, up 44.26%, 6.33 billion. And deals added 2.28% and closed at 6,273. Looking at the counters, you know, we talked about the banking, always liquid, where to run to, both to get money and to invest. So banking was up yesterday, 1.44. The food gas did that. Consumer goods was also up. Industrial and oil and gas, however, unchanged. But I mean, oil and gas was positively unchanged. So there was movement there, just so slight. You can hardly show. Insurance, however, was on the flip side yesterday. And market breadth yesterday was positive, building on what we had 2 days ago. 21 tickers gained, 13 lost, you know, so more space there to give confidence. Let's move over to the fixed income market there. The federal government bonds had 29 deals worth 31.11 billion. And we see the popular ones right there. The most popular is the January 2026, 98.91% in price. Let's see the Treasury bill. Yeah, okay, the CBN. CBN had only 3, worth about 10 billion. And then December 2023, very closely related there. Christmas Day securities that were mature on Christmas Day, and then the one in January, they were the most favored move, had some activities on yesterday. But let's talk to Caleb Alimi, Chief Dealer, Providence Bank, to tell us more about these numbers, the background of it. Hi, Caleb, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, good to have you. So FAC was released yesterday, but I guess it hasn't moved into the market yet.
Not yet. However, the anticipation of FAC often influences how, you know, trading proceeds from the on the day. I was expecting about around half of the figure that was shared to come into the market, in addition to coupon payments. You know, this week we're expecting in total in coupon payments a little over 200 billion. In addition to FAC of over like 400 billion. So we expect market to be extremely liquid. We expect all of that to, you know, chase risk-free security on the treasury bill space and on the short end of the bonds market as well. There is a treasury bill auction today. I don't know if you, there's a treasury bill auction today where the DMO is offering, you know, a total of about 180 billion across 3 maturities. The 91 days, 182 days, and 364 days. We expect interest rates to slightly tick upwards because, as you know, investors are demanding, higher rates from given how inflation is skyrocketing. Investors are expecting something slightly higher. Last auction closed at 9.25. We expect that this auction will close around, close to the 10% handle, given the expectations of higher interest rates generally. But the liquidity may actually, dampen that uptick, but we in the market are expecting some sort of uptick.
Okay, but the boom that we saw in the global space, the bonds global space, I think that has tapered, even though I don't think it really got into the Nigerian markets.
So yes, it did affect Nigerian Euro bonds, given those are dollar denominated. Once there's sort of like a rally in global bonds, it will eventually affect emerging markets as well. So our Euro bonds did experience that rally or that boom, and continues into today as well. Even though yesterday was the day we saw a lot of that huge boom, but today it's slightly lower and is expected because of prices moved about 2 points yesterday. So yes, it affected our Euro bonds, but not our local bonds. As you know, the dollar is stronger than the naira.
You had to say that, right? Well, what's the expectation? The expectation from the auction today, what do you see?
Yes, so like I said, I think we expect an uptick, but we also think that the liquidity figures would, dampen that uptick. Last auction, the 1-year paper closed at 9.25, so we probably expect it to, close slightly close to the 10% handle, all things being equal, which is never the case, but we'll see how that goes.
All right, Caleb, thank you so much for your time and sharing your perspective this morning.
Thank you.
So yesterday was Crypto Day. I don't know if it's still Crypto Day today, but Ladi has the details to give us. Ladi, what's the color of your market today?
Yeah, let's take a look at the color. It's Crypto Day every day.
Is it orange?
Red. It's red.
Ladi, what's this? What did you do?
Nothing to be afraid of. Nothing to be afraid of. It's just a little pullback there. When you get those huge spikes, definitely you're going to get a pullback.
We talked about it yesterday. I mean, I can't remember the last time we had crypto at 35, 36.
I can't remember it.
I mean, some people just they've been waiting
for that level.
Exactly. So they just had to pull out and.
It's only natural.
Yeah, people are planning for Christmas.
Exactly.
So.
Oh, Christmas. Oh,
yeah,
wow.
Christmas.
And you remind me. I need to say
that's the color of Christmas, red and green.
Red and green. Exactly. You remind me. I need to say for Christmas at this point. Look, we see pockets of green right there. It's not a predominantly red color in the market right now. Let's look at these sentiments. Now, we know we've been at neutral for a while, but now we're back in greed now for the market, 72 points of 100. And definitely the way to use the fear greed index, as Warren Buffett says, sell when the market is excited, but buy when the market is fearful. So if you're going by that, this is greed at this point in this market, 72 points. Let's look at the top cryptocurrencies we track now. Look at Bitcoin there at 8 a.m. this morning, holding up 34,000 level, 0.19% pullback. Did get some sell pressure when it crossed that 35,000 level. Ethereum holding above the 1.6 level, $1,700, down 1.68%. And we see XRP acting like a stable coin around that 50-cent level, not letting go of that level for now. 1.54% on the flip side, heading upward. That's for XRP. And we see Cardano marginally up there, 0.04%. Let's get a check on the market now. Let's talk to Michael Naji now, financial market analyst. Hello, Michael. Good morning. Hello, Michael. All right, I guess we'll try and get Michael back.
Hello.
Okay, Michael, I think I can hear you now. Michael, good morning.
Good morning, Ladi. Thanks for having me on.
Fantastic. Always good to have you, Michael. So we're seeing 34,000 level still holding in this market. Somehow you believe that once you get these large spikes, you might get a large drop at the end of the day. But it seems the ETF, Bitcoin spot ETF, is still what's driving this market right now. But how are you seeing things generally?
Yeah, so it looks like the news of a potential ETF is making the market jumpy and quite excited. Basically, what's going on is the iShares Bitcoin spot ETF from BlackRock. Basically it appeared on the Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation website. Basically, what happened is they began seeding the ETF. Basically, what that means is they bought shares and then they're just trying to get it ready to be opened. But the market took that as they're going to get approved, and the market is taking it as a more of a 95% chance an ETF is going to be here in a couple of months. So that's why you're seeing the market being jumpy. I think some market participants have more information than the rest of us, and so that's kind of what you're seeing here in play.
Right, and definitely in most markets, there's always that group that have all the information before others, get those information. But looking at the market right now, how do you trade this ETF story? Once a spot BTF, a Bitcoin ETF is approved, is it a sell the news kind of strategy, or what do you do with this?
Sorry, can you repeat that again?
Right, so I'm talking about the strategy right now, around the Bitcoin, spot ETF. Is it to sell the news once you get that approval, or what's the best strategy to play this ETF story in the crypto market?
Most likely Bitcoin cools off from here. That's the most realistic thing. I think there's going to be a rotation into altcoins. So you're going to see altcoins do well. There's an altcoin called Traveler. It's up almost 4x on the year. I think altcoins now get rotated into heavily. As long as we see Bitcoin consolidate between 30 to 35,000, you're going to see altcoins explode and do well, because that's basically the flow of crypto. You have Bitcoin go up, and then while it consolidates, the alts catch up, quote unquote. So that's basically the strategy that's in play now, is the rotation into alts.
All right, let's look at some possible scenarios now. Let's assume a Bitcoin ETF gets approved. What happens next? Are there other altcoins that might also get an ETF approval, or how does that play out?
Most likely, if there's going to be another ETF, it's probably going to be Ethereum. But historically, when we look back to gold, when the ETF got launched for gold, it was the beginning of a new era for gold. So the consensus belief is the ETF is going to flow in, is going to help flow in billions of dollars that didn't have access to Bitcoin because of their mandates about custody, just about risk in general. So you're going to have a lot of capital that was sidelined, that literally had no way to access Bitcoin, access it. So this is going to be a boom for everyone. So you're going to see Ethereum next, probably have an ETF, probably followed by Solana, and then kind of in that order. You're going to see the top 3, top 5 by market cap be the first ones to have an ETF come through.
So there's no possibility of a mid-cap or micro-cap getting an ETF? That's not possible? That's out of books?
No. The reason why that's not possible is because we just saw how hard the SEC grilled everyone who tried to launch an ETF for Bitcoin. So launching a mid-cap coin that's even easier to manipulate will not be easy to fly by the SEC. So you're probably going to need to be a higher cap coin to make any kind of ETF inroads.
Can a meme coin get an ETF?
Certainly, Dogecoin could probably get an ETF, as it's a large cap. It's in the top 20. So I think it's just a matter of time before we see things like that. But no, meme coins are not. They definitely could have ETFs on meme coins. It's just a matter of time.
Right, quite incredible times right here, Michael. So much to unpack there. We'll keep watching. Hopefully this ETF drama comes to an end soon. Thank you so much, Michael and Naji. Always great having your perspective.
Thank you, Ladi.
All right, let's get back to the market now. Let's take a look at who's topping the trade there this morning. You see Mina Protocol, top of the counter there, 71 cents. Double-digit gains, what we have on the top gainers counter this morning, showing a lot of bullish sentiment in the market now, 24.16%. That's the top rise for Mina Protocol. CFX, they're one of the China tokens there, 15 cents, up 18%. So we're seeing double-digit gains. Link also getting back on that gainers counter. So we can see the excitement right there in the market. We're seeing double-digit gains for the top gainers on the top 100 coins on the crypto market. So it shows that traders are really excited right now.
Yeah, they're excited, but it's not a good time to get in.
Tell me about it. That's always the issue, where to get
when
in.
Everyone is excited, you can't go in that time, so.
Because you're afraid you're going to miss out.
Yes.
FOMO is not easy at all.
All right, Laddie, thank you, and see you at 1:30.
Thank you.
All right, so that's it on the program. Thank you so much for being a part of Business Morning today. I do hope it was worth your while. If you missed out any part of it, we had a lot of interesting conversations. Unfortunately, we couldn't have that conversation on the FX automation plans of the federal government. We hope to bring that to you tomorrow. So please, if you missed today, join tomorrow at 10 a.m. Business Morning. I'm John McQuarrie. I'll see you at 10 p.m. for the stock market report.